Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back in the video. With this video, I'm recommending my top 5 dark decks for the Dark vs. Light event. And if you guys want to see a light counterpart for this video, let me know. But here I'm going to get started with Predaplant. So Predaplant was pretty much not hit by this event's like ban list. It's pretty solid if you want to run a pure Predaplant build. You could also mix it up a little bit, put in some Fallen Valbaz, put in some Despia. This is just a template here that you don't necessarily have to follow, but you could just add on to it or change it as you'd like. But I think Predaplant overall is pretty good. And yeah, if you want to add Fallen Valbaz, Despia, play with some of those cards in there. If you already have some of the packages, that could really work for you. And it's just an overall fun like fusion deck that, if you can see, utilizes super polymerization. So if you like taking your opponent's monsters, you have quite a few amount of targets. So Garura is banned from this event, so you're not going to be able to utilize a card like that. But you still have a good amount of targets in the form of Starving Venom. I mean, you're going to be seeing a lot of dark monsters, so it makes sense to be running Starving Venom. And then you also have Dragostopelia, Tri-Fi, just because he can actually target 3 dark monsters on the field. So you can get an extra target here over Starving Venom. Okay guys, so the next deck I have for you is Raid Raptors. So Raid Raptors usually doesn't do too well in just the general meta. It's a heavy combo deck that can be pretty difficult to wield at times, but I think it's a pretty solid contender for this event, just because everything it utilizes is dark. It gets locked into dark monsters anyways, and really you can play this deck at full power in this dark event here, since you're not going to be running anything outside of engine and outside of like dark monsters. So if you like a really strong combo deck that just, you know, includes you like going into something like Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon, you know, it's a towers monster that's incredibly powerful, or summoning something like Kali Yugioh that after it succeeds summon, other cards and their effects cannot be activated on the field, so you can just activate this during your opponent's turn and then you basically win the duel. So it's just a, like I said, a good combo deck that is fun to use, that hasn't really been hurt by the ban list for this event. Okay, since we were talking about Raid Raptors, I thought it was befitting right now just to go straight into Blackwings. So Blackwings got some recent new support, form of the structure deck, and it's just a very powerful new support. Basically, we have something like Chinook here that's able to serve as an imperm for the deck. Being able to use this over an imperm is good, but you can also run something like imperm. But yeah, having something in engine like Chinook here in order to negate, it's very powerful. You also have the new Blackwing Assault Dragon, which basically hits for a lot of burn damage and gives you the ability to pop the entire board as well. So it's kind of a ticking time bomb for your opponent that makes it difficult for them to utilize it. And of course we have something like Simoon that's able to ramp onto like Black Whirlwind. So if you guys haven't really played Blackwings in a minute, this could be a good time to get into it, just because it is a really strong, it's as strong as it's been in a long time. You can play around with the extra deck here. Right now it's just pure Blackwings, but you can definitely utilize other things here. Of course I have something like Draco Berserker and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, but you can add more things like this, search more dark synchro monsters that you want to add, and you could utilize something like that. And even we have the new Chaos Angel here that it's going to give all your synchro monsters protection from destruction in battle. So that's very powerful in its own right. But let's go to the next deck that I have to recommend you guys. Okay guys, so the fourth deck that I have to recommend you is Labyrinth. So you must have heard of this deck. It's a very powerful deck right now. And even though it's not at full power, as you do lose access to something like Cuckoo Clock, you still have Lady Labyrinth running at 1 copy, which obviously isn't ideal, but at least you still have access to it. And also we got hit with the big Welcome Labyrinth, so there are a good amount of significant hits in this ban list. That makes it definitely hurts the deck a bit, but it's still a very powerful trap deck that it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to play through. And the fun thing about this is that you can play around with the traps, play around with your normal trap cards that you want to add to the deck that you maybe have been wanting to add for a minute but haven't gotten a chance to, or even wanting to play around with. Something like Dimensional Barrier is still as powerful as it's ever been. So being able to do something like that is great. Of course, we still have the Chaos Angel in case you want to give some protection from battle destruction. It's a really good dark deck overall. It's mainly a trap deck that has dark monsters in it, but it's able to utilize them in a good way that's super efficient and really fun to use. So I definitely recommend this, especially if you already have Labyrinth. You could just change it up a little bit and play from there. Alright guys, the final dark deck that I recommend is Dark World Danger. So most of the danger monsters, well, all of the danger monsters are dark monsters, and since you always put them together with Dark World, it's perfect. It's dark deck. Specific things that were hit here, but obviously something like 1 copy of Mothman and 1 copy of Lucent is definitely gonna hurt a little bit, but you still have access to main engine, so that's good, and you're still able to play it essentially as you did before. Just the extra deck is a bit different now, and you definitely have to be a bit more clever on the way you utilize the extra deck. But if you guys haven't gotten the chance to play Dark World, this could be a good time to pick it up. If you like the playstyle of discarding cards, then this deck will definitely be perfect for you. Also, we have access to the new Grapha Dragon Overlord of Dark World. So this card here, it's able to turn any effect basically to you discarding a card. And of course, if you guys have seen the Dark World monsters, their effects get boosted if you are forced to discard because of an opponent's effect, which this card basically turns that into. So it's an amazing, unique way of essentially negating effect, but also benefiting you. So it's pretty fun to be able to see how that's going to change the way you play this deck here. And again, not a lot of things have changed necessarily, like in the main deck, where you have to play around because of the new ban list. Just a couple cards that you have to reduce, and then the extra deck too, I recommend that you just play around with things and see what works with you. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you guys want to see the top 5 light decks that I'd recommend for this dark versus light event here. And I'll see you guys next time.